25 Grand Bahamians receiving grant funding for their businesses. Bahamians encouraged to fight for their rights during the close of Labor Week. And this past Labor was a time of fun and celebration for one church family in West End. Hear why.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shoshina Wool-Parkinson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news this evening, the government making good on its promise to assist small and startup businesses on Grand Bahama. Another batch of participants in the Micro and Small Business Program receiving grant funding last week.
A special congratulations to each and every one of you.
A special congratulations to 25 Grand Bahamians who were recently enrolled in the Grand Bahama Micro and Small Business Program. The program is the brainchild of the Minister of State for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Kwasi Thompson.
What we found actually is the value of those courses even exceeds the value of the funds that you are going to get. There have been some who have even said, thank you, we don't even necessarily need the grant funding. The course that I got and the training that I got was sufficient for me to be able to move forward with my business. So you would have gotten double.
Those receiving the grant also took part in a 2-week training course on business and received up to $5,000. Now here's why the minister says the training was just as much as the financial grant.
I firmly believe that we are at a turning point right now for Grand Bahama, and I firmly believe that these developments, that we must prepare ourselves for these developments. I told somebody the other day, I said, my belief is that these opportunities are going to hit us like a tsunami.
He adds that the program will now focus on assisting those who have and want to start small businesses to assist them in taking advantage of opportunities that are set to come on stream.
Not only have we been able to equal the amount of funding for small business development from last year's funding, but we have also, and I'm thankful to the Prime Minister and thankful to the Minister of Finance, but they have actually increased the amount of funding that we are able to provide for small business development in Grand Bahama.
And get this.
So we in Grand Bahama must be innovative. We must be creative. You must be able to do some things differently, provide some things differently. And I believe that if you are able to do that, you will be successful in the businesses that you put forward.
The minister is also crediting the Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources, the Honorable Michael Pintard, for his role in the Micro and Small Business Program. Switching gears now, the labor unions on Grand Bahama wrapping up Labor Week yesterday with a Thanksgiving service at Living Water Assemblies of God. The service closing out the Labor Day week of activities, culminating in a church service this past Sunday. Now, there are those in attendance heard about the significance of the unions fighting for the betterment of all. The special Labor Day church service was held at the Living Waters Assembly. As union leaders and members gathered, Area Vice President of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, Quinton LaRota, shared the significance of the unions taking a stand and fighting for what is right.
The fight in the union is not just a fight for workers' rights. It's a fight for human rights. It's a fight for fairness. It's a fight to fulfill. When Christ asks us on that day, what have you done for the least of my brothers? And you can say, dear Lord, I gave my all. I stood with my brothers and my sisters. I fought the good fight. And he could say, welcome, thou good and faithful servant. Enter the joy.
Pastor Eddie Victor brought the keynote address. He agreed with LaRota, adding that the only way to make a difference in this country is to fight.
If we don't fight now, not only will we be in bondage, but our children and our grandchildren will be in bondage. If you don't want to fight for yourself, fight for your children. Fight for your grandchildren. We are now the benefactors of people who fought for us.
Using a sword as an example, Victor shared why everyone must fight for the future of this country.
When you go out in society, that you imagine that you have a sword in your hand and that you are ready to fight for the future of your country, of your children, of your grandchildren. The time is now. Let me say this. I hope all of you can realize this, that time is going by.
He says the time to make a difference is now. Awards were then presented to persons who were recognized for their contribution to the labor movement. Well, Thursday is election day for the members of the Bahamas Union of Teachers. Just over 3,400 members are eligible to vote. 600 members are from Grand Bahama. Incumbent President Belinda Wilson will be challenged by Joan Knowles-Turnquest for the top post. Candidates for Vice Presidents are Jason Haley and Tiffany Roberts. Quinton LaRota will be challenged for the position of Area Vice President for Grand Bahama by George Mills. There will be 3 voting centers in the Grand Bahama District: the High Rock Administrator's Office in East End, the BUT Hall in Freeport, and the Local Government Office in Grand Key. Now, the voting center will be open at 8 a.m. and that will close at 5 p.m. Today is Whit Monday, also known as Pentecost Monday, the day following the great feast of the church. And in honor of the annual observance here on Grand Bahama, the Cecil Thompson Grand Bahama United March took place this morning in the Lucaya area. Our Italia Hall tells us that scores of young people were in attendance despite the inclement weather.
The Cecil Thompson United Grand Bahama March began at the Grand Bahama Cricket Club. A number of youth organizations lined up shortly before 10 a.m. to parade throughout the streets of Grand Bahama. President of Reach Out Youth Ministries, Dudley Siede, says the focus this year is crime, violence, and other social ills affecting the country.
Today we made an effort to make sure the whole entire families are involved. We changed the name to the Grand Bahama United so that we have mothers, sisters, brothers, ministers, business persons here on this march today. People are trickling in. If I'm out here by myself, I will continue.
Bishop Kermit Saunders says crime is not just a problem for one person to fix. He says it will take the support of the entire community. He also added that the church must come together as one.
I believe that more can be done as we push forward and to show the community that there is solidarity, there is unity, there is oneness, and we need to do what we can to affect positive change for the youths of Grand Bahama.
Magistrate Rankin Johnson turning out to support the young people. She says it is a positive activity for the nation's youth to be a part of.
I think it's a very good concept to see young men in such positive roles as they're doing today. And I always think that as an alternative to sending them to jail, to rehab them and give them a purpose in life and support them and give them opportunities. And that's what I think all people need, is opportunities to be respected and to be given another chance.
These young people shared why it was important for them to be a part of the annual parade.
Yeah, because my coach, he asked us to come together and to participate in this march. And it was there's too much violence going on, so I decided to join the Reach Out to stop the violence.
It's important to be inside positive activities because it's best for us to don't be in negative activities to cause us getting problems and stuff. So the more positive stuff we in, we inspiring younger kids.
Now the parade ended here on Taino Beach. Several persons were also honored for their contributions to the community of Grand Bahama. Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Well, following the street parade, participants in the Cecil Thompson Grand Bahama United March then transitioned to Taino Beach, where a rally was held to honor men in the community for their contributions to nation building. Megan Shepard picks up this story.
Dr. Thompson notes that although there were fewer participating organizations this year, he is confident that the event has tremendous potential.
I hope if I'm alive next year, we could get the churches and the school, youth organizations, if not involved in the parade, certainly on spoon and egg race, three-legged race, and the whole endless number of activities we could take care of. Because what he's trying to do is bring Grand Bahamians together.
Honorees Minister Patrice Cooper and Pastor Eddie Victor say they are grateful to be recognized by an organization that impacts the next generation of leaders.
I personally believe that it takes a village to raise a child, and I feel that we as Bahamians have ventured away from that. And so I give Dudley Siede and his wife and the ministry kudos because they are now reaching out and making that connection again and involving the village. And so that's a good thing to be a part of, and so I'm grateful for that.
Everything that we've ever done is really out of love for our island and our people and the people of this nation. And with the work that Dudley Siede is doing, it is a stellar example of what an individual who follows a dream and vision, what they can do to impact, in this case, the lives of young people.
Reflecting on his journey to becoming a Christian, Bishop Kermit Saunders says he is grateful to the mentors he had in his life that helped him to reach this point. He says he wants young persons to know that they can always turn to God and positive leaders in the community as they continue to go through life.
I will say to the young people that there is mentors, there are persons who are doing it right. And you just have to find those persons, and they are more than willing to help in steering you because they've been through some very dark days. And so I'm just honored that I had the positive influences in my life to have steered me to this place.
This year's top honoree, Reverend Dr. Robert Lockhart, has been a part of Siede's organization since the inception. He says that he is proud to see the impact that Reach Out Youth Organization has been having.
I think the importance so that the young people can see what it takes to build a community, that it really takes adults and young people working together in that relationship of mentor-mentoree, so that when they become adults also, they'll see that they need to give back and reach back to the generation coming back so we continue to move our country forward.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Thank you so much, Italian Megan, for that team coverage. Switching gears now, Bahamians will now be required to provide their social media names on most United States visa applications. A U.S. Embassy official confirmed that the Department of State has updated its immigrant and non-immigrant visa application forms to request additional information, including social media identifiers from most U.S. visa applicants. Previously, only applicants who had been identified as needing extra scrutiny were required to provide social media, email, and phone number histories. According to the Associated Press, the requirement used to affect about 65,000 applicants annually, but it is now expected to affect around 15 million applicants per year. The change was cited as a means to strengthen the vetting process for applicants. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Stay with us. There's more news right after the break.
News is brought to you by Dolly Madison, Freeport's original home center.